Human beings have always searched for meaning. Across the vast tapestry of history, empires have risen and fallen, technologies have advanced, but one question has always lingered in the heart of every soul. What is the purpose of my existence? For some, life is about chasing success, wealth, or recognition. For others, it's about building relationships, families, and communities. Yet beneath all of these pursuits lies a subtle yearning, something deeper than material gains or fleeting pleasures. It is the longing for inner peace, freedom, and truth. This is where the wisdom of the Buddha echoes across centuries, reminding us of an eternal possibility, that within each of us lies an unshakable peace, a radiant clarity, a Buddha nature waiting to be awakened. The Buddha was not a god, nor a myth. He was a human being who walked this earth over 2,500 years ago, and through his own direct experience discovered the path to liberation from suffering. His teachings are not confined to monks or mystics. They are universal truths that can guide every ordinary person in the modern world. To awaken your inner Buddha is not to worship a distant figure, but to realize the timeless qualities that already exist within you: compassion, wisdom, mindfulness, and liberation. When people hear the word Buddha, they often think of statues in temples, golden figures sitting in serene meditation, or stories of a prince who renounced his palace life. But to awaken your inner Buddha, you must go beyond images and symbols. The Sanskrit word Buddha means the awakened one. To awaken is to see reality clearly, without illusions, without the fog of ignorance and craving. Each of us has the capacity to awaken. The Buddha himself said, "All beings have Buddha nature." This means that within every heart lies the seed of enlightenment, the ability to transcend suffering and discover true peace. But what blinds us from seeing this truth? It is the restless mind. The constant stream of desires, fears, regrets, and attachments. Like a mirror covered in dust, our inner radiance is hidden, not destroyed. By removing the dust through practice, clarity shines forth. The inner Buddha is not separate from you. It is your deepest self, the part of you untouched by the chaos of the world. To awaken, it is not to become someone new, but to return to what you truly are. The journey to awakening begins with understanding suffering, its cause, and the way beyond it. The Buddha summarized this wisdom in the Four Noble Truths. The first noble truth: life contains suffering. No matter who you are, pain, loss, and disappointment touch every life. Suffering is not punishment, it is part of existence. The second noble truth: the cause of suffering is craving. We suffer not simply because of external events, but because of our clinging, the endless, I want this, I don't want that. Desire, aversion, and ignorance bind us in cycles of dissatisfaction. The third noble truth: there is a way out of suffering. Liberation is possible. Just as clouds part to reveal the sun, the end of suffering reveals inner peace. The fourth noble truth: the path to liberation. The Buddha gave us the Eightfold Path, a practical guide for ethical living, mental discipline, and wisdom. This path is not dogma, it is a way of life, a roadmap to awakening. When you deeply reflect on these truths, you realize that awakening is not an abstract ideal, it is a lived experience. Every moment you let go of craving, you taste freedom. Every time you meet suffering with compassion, you embody your Buddha nature. To awaken your inner Buddha, you must walk the path the Buddha illuminated. Right view: seeing life as it truly is, not as we wish it to be. Recognizing impermanence, suffering, and the possibility of liberation. Right intention: cultivating intentions of kindness, compassion, and renunciation of harmful desires. Right speech: speaking truthfully, gently, and wisely. Words can heal or harm, and mindful speech creates harmony. Right action: living ethically, avoiding harm to others, practicing honesty and integrity. Right livelihood, choosing work that benefits rather than harms, aligning your livelihood with compassion. Right effort, diligently cultivating wholesome qualities and letting go of unwholesome ones. Right mindfulness, developing awareness of body, feelings, thoughts, and phenomena. Being fully present in each moment. Right concentration, training the mind through meditation, achieving clarity and deep states of peace. These 8 steps are not rigid commandments but living practices. They are the tools through which the dust of ignorance is wiped away, revealing the shining mirror of the mind. One of the most powerful ways to awaken your inner Buddha is through mindfulness. Mindfulness means paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It is simple, but not easy, because the mind constantly wanders to the past and future. When you eat, are you truly tasting each bite? When you breathe, are you aware of the life force sustaining you? When you listen to someone, are you fully present, or half distracted by your phone? The Buddha taught that mindfulness is the direct path to awakening. By observing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without clinging or rejecting, you discover that they are impermanent. You are not your anger, your fear, or your desire. These are passing clouds, while your true nature is the vast sky. To live mindfully is to reclaim your freedom from automatic reactions. Instead of being driven by habits, you become the master of your mind. If mindfulness is awareness, meditation is its training ground. Meditation is not about emptying the mind but about seeing the mind clearly. It is the practice of sitting quietly, observing thoughts, breathing deeply, and resting in awareness. Through meditation, you begin to notice the patterns of your mind. You see how cravings arise, how anger burns, how joy blossoms, how peace emerges. Over time, you gain mastery, not by controlling thoughts, but by letting them pass without being enslaved by them. The Buddha himself attained awakening under the Bodhi tree through meditation. For 49 days, he sat, watched, and penetrated the nature of reality until he broke free from the cycle of suffering. You may not sit for 49 days, but even a few minutes daily can transform your life. Meditation purifies the mind, strengthens compassion, and reveals the inner Buddha. Awakening is not only about personal peace, it is also about compassion. The Buddha taught that wisdom and compassion are like 2 wings of a bird. You cannot fly with only one. Compassion arises when you recognize that all beings suffer, just as you do. Instead of building walls of separation, you open your heart. When you see someone in pain, instead of judgment, you feel understanding. When you face conflict, instead of hatred, you respond with patience. Compassion does not mean weakness, it means strength rooted in love. The inner Buddha blossoms fully when compassion flows through every thought, word, and action. By helping others, you help yourself. By healing others, you heal yourself. One of the hardest lessons in awakening is learning to let go. We cling to possessions, identities, relationships, and even our suffering. But clinging is the root of pain. The more tightly we hold, the more we hurt. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means loving without attachment, giving without expectation, living without fear. Like a river, life flows. To awaken your inner Buddha is to flow with it, not against it. When you release attachment, you discover a freedom beyond measure. Some may think, the Buddha lived 2,500 years ago. How can his teachings help in today's world of technology, stress, and endless demands? But the truth is timeless. Anxiety, greed, anger, and ignorance still plague humanity. In fact, with modern distractions, they are even stronger. That is why awakening your inner Buddha is more relevant today than ever. When you practice mindfulness, you free yourself from digital addiction. When you live with compassion, you heal divisions in society. When you meditate, you find peace in a noisy world. The teachings of the Buddha are not about escaping life but about living it fully, consciously, and wisely. Start with your breath. Each day, take a few minutes to breathe mindfully. Inhale peace, exhale tension. Practice gratitude. Each night, reflect on 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude awakens joy. Be mindful in daily actions. Eat slowly, listen deeply, walk with awareness. Meditate daily. Even 5 minutes can create change. Speak with kindness. Before words leave your lips, ask, will this bring peace or harm? Let go of one attachment at a time. Notice where you cling and gently release it. Serve others. Offer compassion, help the needy, bring light where there is darkness. Each of these small practices is a step toward your inner Buddha. To awaken your inner Buddha is not to retreat from the world, but to transform how you live in it. You can be a Buddha as a parent, showing patience and unconditional love. You can be a Buddha as a worker, practicing honesty and dedication. You can be a Buddha as a friend, offering support and kindness. You can be a Buddha in silence, simply radiating peace wherever you go. The awakened life is not about perfection but about presence. It is about walking with awareness, acting with compassion, and seeing the sacred in the ordinary. So, as we come to the close of this journey, let us pause and reflect on what it truly means to awaken your inner Buddha. For many of us, the Buddha appears as a distant figure in history, a sage who sat beneath a tree and discovered enlightenment thousands of years ago. We admire him, we respect his teachings, but often we place him on a pedestal, imagining that such awakening is too high, too pure, too impossible for ordinary people like us. Yet the greatest truth the Buddha shared was this: he was not unique. He was not a supernatural being. He was a human being, just like you, just like me. The difference was that he discovered a way of seeing life with clarity, a way of living free from the chains of craving and fear. And then he turned to the world and said, you too can walk this path. You too can awaken. This is the invitation that still echoes across centuries. It is the invitation for each of us to recognize that beneath our layers of doubt, anger, fear, and desire, there is a radiant purity. A clarity. A Buddha nature. Awakening is not about becoming someone new. It is about realizing what has always been within you. Imagine a lotus flower growing in the mud. At first, all you see is the dirt, the murky water, the mess. But slowly, the lotus rises, untouched by the mud, blooming in pure beauty. That lotus is your Buddha nature. No matter what difficulties, mistakes, or darkness you've lived through, the seed of awakening is untouched, waiting to bloom. To awaken your inner Buddha is to see the mud for what it is, temporary, not your true essence, and to rise above it with dignity and grace. We often think the spiritual path requires escaping to mountains or monasteries. But awakening is not found by running away from life. It is found by living fully, consciously, in each moment. The Eightfold Path is not a distant philosophy. It is as close as your next word, your next breath, your next choice. Every time you speak with kindness instead of cruelty, you are walking the path. Every time you pause and breathe instead of reacting in anger, you are walking the path. Every time you choose compassion over selfishness, you are embodying your Buddha nature. The truth is, you don't have to wait for some perfect day to begin. The path begins now, in this very moment. So much of our suffering comes from clinging, from holding on too tightly to things, people, or identities that are constantly changing. We cling to possessions, yet they break or fade. We cling to relationships, yet they shift and evolve. We cling to ideas about ourselves, yet we change with time. The Buddha showed us that letting go is the secret to freedom. To let go does not mean to stop caring. It means to love without chains, to live without fear, to appreciate without trying to possess. Think of a bird. Its wings are meant to fly, but it cannot soar if it carries too much weight. In the same way, our hearts are meant to expand, but cannot do so if we are weighed down by clinging. Awakening your inner Buddha means dropping the unnecessary burdens so that you can fly free. And yet, awakening is not only for ourselves. The Buddha reminded us that true liberation blossoms in compassion. Wisdom without compassion becomes cold. Compassion without wisdom becomes blind. But together, they form the wings that carry us to awakening. When we open our hearts to the suffering of others, something extraordinary happens. We dissolve the illusion of separation. We realize that our joys and sorrows are not isolated, but shared. We realize that by healing others, we also heal ourselves. Compassion does not require grand gestures. It begins in the smallest acts, listening deeply, forgiving sincerely, offering kindness even when it's difficult. Each act of compassion waters the seed of your Buddha nature. Each act awakens the light within. Perhaps the simplest and most profound practice is mindfulness. In a world that constantly pulls us toward distractions, mindfulness is the art of coming home. When you breathe mindfully, you come home to your body. When you walk mindfully, you come home to the earth beneath your feet. When you listen mindfully, you come home to the presence of another being. Mindfulness is not just a meditation technique, it is a way of living. It transforms the ordinary into the sacred. Eating a meal, drinking water, or even washing dishes becomes an opportunity to touch life deeply, to awaken the Buddha within. You may wonder, can I really awaken? Can I really embody these teachings in the chaos of modern life? The answer is yes. Awakening is not reserved for saints or monks. It is available to every human heart. It is not about reaching perfection, but about walking the path with sincerity. Each step you take in awareness, each moment you choose compassion, each breath you embrace with mindfulness, you are awakening. Do not underestimate the power of small steps. Even the great Buddha began with a single breath, a single act of sitting beneath a tree. What matters is not speed, but sincerity. So let us return to the question, what does it mean to awaken your inner Buddha? It means realizing that peace is not found outside, but within. It means living with wisdom, seeing clearly without distortion. It means acting with compassion, understanding that all beings share the same longing for happiness. It means letting go of illusions and resting in the freedom of the present moment. Your inner Buddha is not far away. It is not hidden in temples or scriptures. It is here, in your breath, in your heart, in your awareness. It is the part of you that already knows how to love, how to forgive, how to be free. So I invite you, take a deep breath right now. Feel the air enter your lungs, feel life itself flowing through you. This breath is real. This moment is real. This is where your awakening begins. You do not need to wait for tomorrow, or for a perfect life, or for someone else to grant you peace. You have everything you need, here and now, to awaken your inner Buddha. The seed has always been there. All that remains is to nurture it, with mindfulness, with compassion, with wisdom, and with courage. And remember, when you awaken, the world awakens with you. Your peace inspires others. Your compassion heals others. Your presence lights the path for others. So let this be your path, not tomorrow, not someday, but today. Right here. Right now. Awaken your inner Buddha. And in doing so, awaken the world. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.